Welcome to the Mystery Pathway. The air hung heavy with humidity as we found the door. Hidden in plain sight, it was almost as if it was waiting for us to discover it. An old, rusted metal door, swallowed by vines. It seemed like nature itself was trying to keep it a secret.
This was it, our next urban exploration. The thrill of the unknown beckoned us forward. A forgotten building in the heart of the city, swallowed by time and secrets. It stood as a testament to a bygone era.
My hand trembled with a thrill of anticipation as I pushed the door open. Inside, darkness welcomed us, an abyss of mystery. The air was stale, thick with dust and the silence of ages. It felt like stepping into a forgotten world.
Our flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing a long corridor stretching before us. Each step echoed with the weight of history. Every surface was white. Walls, ceiling, floor, all pristine, all unsettling. It was as if we had entered a different dimension.
The silence was absolute, broken only by the sound of our own breaths. It was a silence that spoke volumes. We stepped inside, the echo of the heavy door clanging shut behind us. The adventure had truly begun. Each step forward felt like stepping into a void. The white walls seemed to press in, suffocating us with their sterile emptiness. The air grew colder, raising goosebumps on my skin.
An unsettling feeling began to creep into me, a sense of being watched by unseen eyes.
The corridor seemed endless. We walked for what felt like hours, the white walls blurring into a monotonous, disorienting maze. The silence was broken only by the sound of our own footsteps.
A whisper, soft as a breath, reached my ears. I stopped, my heart pounding in my chest. "Did you hear that?" My voice barely a whisper, filled with dread.
I whispered, my voice trembling, barely able to contain the fear that gripped me. The others stopped, their faces etched with concern, eyes darting around the dark corridor. They shook their heads, their eyes wide with apprehension, as if expecting something to leap out of the shadows. We listened, holding our breaths, but the only sound was the frantic beating of our hearts, echoing in the silence.
The air grew colder, a chill that seemed unnatural, almost otherworldly. A bone-chilling cold that seemed to seep into our bones, making us shiver uncontrollably.
Then, we heard it again, a sound that sent shivers down our spines. A soft, sibilant whisper, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, filling the air with dread. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end, a primal reaction to the unseen threat. Something was wrong, terribly wrong, an ominous feeling that we couldn't shake off.
Panic welled up inside me, threatening to consume me, my mind racing with fear. We had to get out, now. The urgency was palpable, and we moved as fast as we could, desperate to escape.
We turned, retracing our steps, but the corridor seemed to stretch on forever.
Panic set in, cold and sharp.
We were lost, hopelessly lost in this white, silent labyrinth. Our flashlights flickered, casting long, dancing shadows on the white walls, amplifying the feeling of being watched.
The air grew thick with our fear, each hurried breath echoing in the vast emptiness.
The whispers grew louder, swirling around us like a malevolent wind. They were closer now, taunting us, herding us deeper into the heart of the building.
Desperation clawed at me. There had to be a way out.
We ran, our footsteps echoing in the silent corridor, but the white walls continued to stretch endlessly before us. The air was heavy, suffocating us, the silence pressing down on us like a physical weight.
The whispers were everywhere now, a chorus of disembodied voices that seemed to seep into our very minds.
The realization hit me like a physical blow. There was no escape. This white, sterile labyrinth was our prison, and something dark and sinister lurked within its depths.
The whispers grew louder, morphing into a low, guttural chanting that seemed to vibrate the very air around us.
Then, in the distance, we saw them. Figures shrouded in shadow, moving slowly but deliberately towards us, their forms barely discernible against the blinding white of the walls. But their eyes, their eyes burned with an unnatural light, a light that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories, a cold, malevolent glow that pierced the darkness. It was as if they could see right through us.
They were faceless, devoid of any human features, their features lost in the shadows. But those eyes, those terrifying eyes, they seemed to follow our every move, held all the malice and hunger of a predator stalking its prey. We felt like we were being hunted.
We were trapped, with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The figures advanced, their eyes burning brighter, their presence growing more oppressive, their forms resolving into something monstrous, something inhuman. It was a nightmare come to life.
The chanting reached a fever pitch, a cacophony of voices that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, drowning out all other sound, all other thought. It was overwhelming, suffocating.
This was the end. We could feel it in our bones. We were lost in the white, swallowed by the mist, with no hope of escape.